Good day, all. How's everyone doing? And so, I haven't uploaded a video in a while, but I'm making one today. It's a beautiful day outside, and I decided to turn on the camera and see what comes to my mind. So, but one thing that did come to my mind is I've been on vacation all week. I had some personal business to take care of, but as I'm coming close to going back to work, my mind just went back on the shenanigans that go on at work. So I'm not looking forward to going back to the job at this point right now, because sometimes your coworkers could be a pain in the butt, and I don't miss that. Actually, when I'm going from there, it's like a break from the shenanigans. So
Oh, baby.
the ways that I want to talk about, the things that I want to talk about the ways that you can tell when somebody at the job really doesn't mess with you like that, and how you have to take the social cues and discern whether or not you should be communicating with this person. You have to communicate because you're at the job, so you have to communicate about work things, but it's not what you do, sometimes it's how you do it. And I want to say that you're supposed to be able to tell when somebody does not mess with you according to how they act around you, and the way they conduct themselves in your presence. So one way that you can tell when somebody doesn't mess with you on the job is when they come into work and they greet everybody except for you, or let me say, they come to work, greet everybody by name except for you. And it doesn't bother me none, but next time I know how to treat you accordingly. And the other ways that you can tell, another way that you can tell when someone doesn't mess with you, when they hold a conversation with everyone except for you. And if you do have some kind of input, your input is never the correct answer, or because it's coming from you, it doesn't sound legit. So when you see people acting like that, the best thing for you to do is, when they're in your presence, is to be quiet and just be silent. Don't engage, and don't show any reactions of about how the way you feel about what they're doing in front of you. So another way that you can tell somebody's irritated with you, or just irritated with your presence or your light, is when everything you do is never enough, or no matter how good you do the job, they gotta find something wrong with what you did. And they gotta let you know everything you did wrong. Like, you could leave the littlest, teeniest, weeniest thing, and they'll never let you live anything down. As soon as you do one little thing that you shouldn't have done, which I feel a lot a lot of the things are things that when I come on the shift, I kind of let some things slide. It depends on what it is. If it's something really, really, then I'll have to speak up and say something about it. But as far as the work goes, if they left a little bit of work behind, I take care of it, and I don't even mention it again after that. Sometimes I'll notice, but if it happens repetitively, then I can understand you having something to say to your coworker about what's not being done, if that happens all too often and repetitively. But when you have a coworker who comes in every morning they finding something. You know, I'm the night shift, so the people that come behind me is morning shift. When you come in every morning, you have some kind of complaint, and I know how you are, you know, when you're working behind me, so I try to make everything as close, as good as good as possible, as close to good as possible as I can. And for some reason, it seems to never be enough for some people. But you need not let things like that get you. Well, I don't let things like that get me in an uproar. Like, I don't let it bother me, but I just notice it and I take note of it. And so when people start acting this way around me, I don't engage. I stop engaging with you. I have to let you know that your behavior is terrible. So in order for me to do that, I'm gonna show you a little bit of shade, and that's what I've been doing. I don't mean to laugh. Y'all know laughing is a part of my personality by now, because on every video I gotta say that I had a couple of giggles in there. So that's just the way I am. I have like a little bit of a bubbly personality, but you know, like, some things you have to let slide, and some things you have to show them a little bit of your wrath, because you know, if you don't, they will just keep on and keep on and keep and you know, when you try to be quiet and you're like, okay, I'm not gonna say too much about what she just said, because I think that's a little minor thing, but if she wants to rattle her brain about something minor, then let her. But after a while, someone keeps, every time, you know, like every single morning there is some type of complaint. And mind you, I've been on my job 20 years. I'm a veteran at this. This person has probably been there a quarter of the time that I've been there. I'm not saying that means anything, but you know, it's ridiculous when someone just has it in for you. And you know how you can tell when somebody's irritated with your presence? Yeah, that's what I get from, yeah, certain people. And another thing you can tell, another way you can tell when someone doesn't mess with you on the job is when they have all the conversation in the world for you when no one else is around, but as soon as their little clique comes in, the clique that they talk about you with, they have nothing to say to you. They're talking to everybody except for you, and they're talking to the other co-workers with their back turned towards you. So that's a social cue right there. When someone's talking and they're talking with their back towards you, that's a real big social cue. And yeah, I've had coworkers come in. I'm talking, like, we're in the staff lounge. I'm talking to one of my other coworkers, and they'll come in and step right in between you and the other coworker that's talking, and step right in between you and start changing the subject that you were talking about originally, and step right in between you where your back is towards me. So that is a social cue in my book. Me, I kind of ignore it, but when I'm in your presence, I know how to handle you. I don't say much to you. And I try to avoid you. And there's another way you can tell when someone got a little hateration or a little irritation with your presence, is when you could be walking down, because the corridors, and where I work, the corridors are pretty excuse me, pretty large. And if I'm walking down the corridor and you're walking this way, and you damn near try to bump me, you won't get another chance to do that. I be trying to keep it so professional and trying to hold my composure, but I'm doing a good job at it, y'all. Not that I'm trying, I have been keeping it professional. I have been holding my composure, and I have been putting all these chicks on ignore, because that's what they are. And they're not acting like professionals, they're acting like chicks at that point. I don't mean to be laughing, but you know, all I can think of is somebody trying to walk into me and me rolling into them like a freaking bowling ball. That's all I can think of. But anyway, that thought goes out my head because we're in a professional setting, and this is not back in the days, and I'm not in the hood anymore. So, but yeah, those kind of things in the workplace, you have to really know how to keep it professional, because if you don't, you can lose your job over conflict, or over somebody just watching you and trying to get you in trouble for some reason, or trying to inspire some type of outburst or rage out of you, or some kind of, you know, performance from you, because that's what it would be. It'd be performance. That's a performance for everybody to see, like, look, see, I told you she was, I knew she was like that. I had to bring it out of her. Don't try not to let that happen. Take deep breaths, inhale and exhale, and let it wisp off your shoulders. But and then there's times where you're in the staff lounge and you're talking, you can tell someone's irritated by you, because all of a sudden they're so freaking loud while they're talking. Like their level of their tone of voice, or level of you know, the level of their voice is like on 1,000, and we're in a professional setting, and we're talking like this, and they're talking up here. So, you know, I always heard that the loudest one in the room is always the weakest one in the room, and I believe that. I believe that. So, lately I've been just avoiding them, like avoiding anybody that I feel a little hateration or a little trigger warning coming off of. I just ignore them, and I basically, not that I ignore them, but I basically keep to myself. And people are so irritated when you keep to yourself too. When you're a quiet person and you don't talk much and you don't share much, they are very freaking irritated with that. But the other thing I wanted to say is that you know, I just lost my train of thought. But I'm just talking about, you know, things that irritate me and things that irritate people about me. So I keep to myself. I'm kind of quiet. I'm unbothered by people's conversations. Like the conversations around me don't bother me much, because a lot of it is, to me, I feel like it's just people talking to hear themselves talk, because they like to talk. And I don't know if you ever have the coworker that claims, like, that tries to act like they're your friend too, by being in your face, like always in your face with something. And when they're in your face, they're noticing your jewelry, they notice noticing anything new that you have on, like just noticing everything. And then you have the coworkers that come in your face and whip out their phone and the photos in their phone, and they're sitting there showing you every photo, damn near every photo in their phone, and you don't know any of these people in their phone, but they want to make sure that you get to see like a bunch of photos of a bunch of people that you don't know for some reason. I mean, I guess, you know, you got those. And I feel like this, as your coworker, I'm just saying this, as your coworker, I do not have time to sit there and look at every picture in your phone. And nor would I do that to my coworker either. I would show them, you know, what I, think is suitable, which is, maybe my grandkids or something like that. Someone asked about my grandchildren, and I showed them a couple of pictures, but after you show about 3 of them, that's enough. Like, you don't have to go through your whole camera roll showing me everything and can't wait to show your coworkers all your photos. That's not, no. Another thing I can't stand about, not that I can't stand it, but I feel like we should just keep it on a professional level and do not take it there with me, is your coworker talking about their personal love life. It's inappropriate. I don't want to hear about your love life. I don't need to know how much money your husband or your boyfriend is giving you, nor do you need to know how much my husband is giving me. I don't need to know about your sex life, nor do you need to know about mine. And you know, like I said, we should just keep it kind of neutral. And I'm happy for anybody who shows me anything that's you know, positive, and anything that they felt good about. Like, I'm all for it. Like, I don't mind, you know, giving you your props and giving you credit where credit is due. But there is a fine line between congratulating your coworker and being happy for whatever it is that they feel happy about and they have achieved, and just every time you see your coworker, this particular coworker, you have to show them everything in your phone. No, girl, no. Nor do I want to be on the phone with my coworkers when I'm not at work. I don't want anyone calling my phone when I'm not at work. And I don't care to discuss work when I'm not at work. When I'm not at work, it's my family time. All I can think about is my family, and that's all I want to think about is my family. I don't want to go to work and listen to all my coworkers. You know, I had a friend like that, you know, like, I remember she used to call me her therapist. I couldn't stand that. I don't like to sit there and let people pour, you know, and I'm not saying I'm not a listener. I am there for you when you need me. But girl, I'm not an open book. Don't sit there and just pour all your story into me, because I can't hear all of it. I got my own problems and my own worries, and I don't want to be boggled down with someone else's story. I got my own story. So, and I don't want to sound selfish. Not that I'm not as sensitive to people's situations and their needs, but some things can be left unsaid, and not you know, like, you don't need to show me every single thing or I don't need to know every aspect of your life, and you don't need to know every aspect of my life. So with that being said, I just wanted to put this video out there because I can tell that sometimes on the job, you can tell who's irritated with you and who doesn't mess with you. And on the job, I already know whose energy doesn't suit mine's, and I know my energy doesn't suit theirs, because when you're in their presence, you can feel it in the air. Like, you just can feel. And you can also tell who's not really being their true authentic self, who's trying to impress, or, you know, like, put the facade out there. You already know who's we all doing the same job. You already kind of know who's putting a facade out there to try to, I don't know if they're trying to impress you, trying to impress me, or if they just like talking about themselves, or just talking, period. So anyway, that is all for now. Can you do me a favor? Hit the like button if you understand what I'm talking about. Not that you have to like everything that I just said, but if you can kind of relate to what I just talked about, hit the like button, please. And do me a favor, It would help me so much if you can subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested in when I upload the next video, you can hit the notifications bell and it will let you know the next time I upload the next video. And I'm going to end this video for now, and everyone have a great rest of your beautiful day. Peace.